What's up, haters? I'm just kidding. That's a terrible way to start a show. Yes, part two, part one. I just want to say really quick that thank you for pronouncing my name at least semi-correctly. Not that it's your fault. No, it's because Kaplun is the way. But I'm in a musical right now that's going on at Obsidian Art Space, and I just read a review today that was like a pretty shitty review of the show, but that's okay. Like, because everyone's entitled to their opinions, but they spelled my name wrong, and your whole journalistic integrity is like really shitty if you can't even get the factual names right. So anyway, whatever. I was sitting on a cold, hard wooden bench in District Court number 11. My lawyer had approached the prosecution and was looking to work out a deal with the state. I was surrounded by people who I'd assume had been picked up on similar charges. On the back of the bench in front of me, someone had taken a Sharpie and written, "Fuck the police," in one last act of defiance, likely not realizing that this would affect no one's life but that of the cleaning lady. I began to worry that someone would accuse me of putting this graffiti up when I heard my lawyer say my name and asked me to step outside. I was nervous. I had been out on bond supervision for a very sober and very enlightening 6 months. And after delaying my hearing over and over, my lawyer and I had agreed that this was supposed to be the day I received my sentence. So, what'd she say? Well, you've got two options. You can either A, plead guilty and go on probation for a year, or B, plead guilty and spend a weekend in jail. You got about an hour to decide. I recommend the weekend, but think about it. Jail isn't for everybody. And no, it fucking isn't. My last time in jail was super scary, but the anxiety of meeting my bond officer was equally nerve-wracking. When you have to submit a urine sample, there is zero privacy. You walk into a bathroom stall with mirrors instead of walls, and a man watches you pee. This is his 9 to 5. He looks at people's dicks all day. And they don't care if you're pee shy, and they will throw you back in jail if you can't bring yourself to drop all your inhibitions. I called my brother, father, and stepfather, and they all agreed, take the weekend. So I walked up to the judge, pled guilty, and set a reservation a few weeks in the future for a weekend at the world's worst spa, Harris County Jail. Aw, shit, kids! Connor Clifton is going back to the big house! The few weeks before I went back to jail were a blur of drinking, smoking, and getting unsolicited advice on how to stay ahead of the game in jail. The most memorable piece of advice I got was to wear a white shirt and white underwear because cops won't take white clothes away from you. So I bought myself some white skivvies in preparation. Every day, it seemed, someone in my family wanted to know if I was nervous. Of course I was. I was going back to a place I had promised myself I would never end up again. I felt like a troubled secret agent who was being called back in for one last mission, despite having promised myself that I would never again enter the wild world of espionage after Mendoza had my wife and daughter killed. But damn it, some beasts just can't be tamed! Side note, never Google Harris County Jail a week before you're supposed to go into Harris County Jail. Along with any abysmal Yelp review, I also learned that Harris County was leading the nation in sexual assault against inmates. I just knew I was going to be raped. Finally, the day arrived. I put on my white undies, smoked a little bit of pot, nervously threw up all over my yard, then got in my friend Jade's car so she could take me to the Hoosgow. I really wanted her to just drive forever and never look back. But she had plans that night and was running late, so I had to go. Booking was easy enough. Take off your shoes and go through a full body scanner. There were about 20 of us weekenders doing their time. They shoved us all in a room, and after a few hours, we were brought to a locker room. That's when my biggest fears started to come to life. Take off all your clothes clothes and change it to the orange clothes provided by the inmates. No. No. I bought white underwear to prevent this. I thought about protesting, but this wasn't the time or place. I stripped naked and walked in a single-file line to the other end of the room where the orange clothes were. I noticed that the guy in front of me had a Sublime tattoo on his ass. What a fucker. Suddenly, a man started screaming. I know your bitch ass didn't just look at my dick. This fucking faggot is looking at my dick. Look at this bitch ass. I know he wasn't yelling at me because I have known some bitch asses in my time, and I, good sir, am no bitch ass. But his cries brought me back to the stark reality of the value of machismo in jail and reminded me that I have none. So, I resolved then and there to keep to myself this weekend. After we got our new outfits, we had to get medical screenings. I got my blood pressure checked, which was stupid high. So I was asked a series of questions by the nurse. Do you have any health conditions we should be aware of? I've had hypertension since I was 14. Do you have any prescriptions? Losartan for my blood pressure and Xanax. Xanax? At this point, the lady asking the questions took off her glasses and rubbed her temples. Her tone then felt less warm and inquisitive and more forced and memorized. Sir, are you depressed? Yeah, I'm in jail. Have you ever thought about killing yourself? Who hasn't? The lady sighed and pulled out a wrist bracelet and wrapped it around my arm. It said MCH/PSY. I asked her what this was and she said, "You're going to the psych ward." Fuck. End of part 1.